A lot of stuff going on, out here in good old Dakotas. Nothing like a hailstorm going, all that good stuff. Anyways, so we're getting a new dog. I will be doing some dog training, gun dog training. I like to train all of my animals to recognize gunshot. Of course, I hunt, so that being the case, we do like to use our animals for that reason. But also just for the family. I mean, who doesn't love dogs, man? So that'll be fun. Gonna pick up the puppy tomorrow. Pretty stoked. It's Shepherd, so we'll see how that goes. I've had German Shepherds before, so good stuff, good times and whatnots. Not a whole lot on this live to talk about. It'll be brief, but more Gunfather content regarding Benjamin Tyler Henry. For those that don't know or haven't seen any of the shorts I've been dropping, Henry, basically he mastered the lever action for lever action rifles, shotguns, etc., especially in the 1800s. They call the 1800s the golden years for firearms, and that's because if you think about it, you've got Sam Colt, you've got Henry, you've got Oliver Winchester, you've got Smith & Wesson, you've got, of course, my all-time favorite, Browning. All these guys, in the United States coming out of the woodwork, all the innovation and whatnot, just in that century alone is insane. One of them that's really impressive, Robbins and Lawrence, and the factory that Henry actually apprenticed at and became the production manager for and everything along the line, they, rather than making the gun parts for their main line of business, manufacturing and industry, they developed the equipment so that people could mass produce these parts. I mean, because up until that point, everything was done by hand. Either they forged it, casting hot metal into the shapes, everything along that line, and then of course you have to go through and clean up and all that stuff with it. But like as far as rifling the barrels, it can take some tedious amounts of time if you're to do the button rifling. And for those that aren't familiar with rifling, if you look inside the barrel, please don't point guns at yourself. Take the barrel off the firearm before you do anything like that, to look down the bore, or look from the breech, not the muzzle. If you look down, like if you have for instance, a break shotgun, whether it be an over and under or side by side, break the action, look at the bore, it's going to be smooth, and most of your shotguns are going to be smooth bore like that, because shotguns, when you shoot, it's basically tumbling and you're shooting a wad. That sounded gross. But as far as rifling goes, it's all those little spirals, just little grooves for the gases to get into there. And what it does is it causes that twist and makes it possible for your projectile to have more velocity, be more accurate. Because when you shoot through a smooth bore, it's just going to go straight out right in front of whatever you're at, whereas to rifling is more precision. So these guys thinking, you know what, there's all these other gun makers out there, they're all battling to do the same thing. Why don't we make the machinery for it? They can buy it from us, and then we'll make money off of that. And sure as hell, Robbins and Lawrence, that's what they did. Their company's not around anymore, unfortunately, but their old factory is actually invented. They called it Big Green. Basically, it looks very much so like a lathe. It had, you'd push the barrel through, and as you were pushing it through slowly, it would be twisting. It would be carving those little grooves of your rifling into the barrel, into the bore of the barrel, excuse me, technical term there, and doing that. And so by doing this, I mean, that was a smart, great way for industry. Henry, great place for him to apprentice, because he knows how to use all the machinery. He also had blacksmiths quite a bit, back in the early 1800s. But, it was selling some of the equipment to Smith & Wesson. Both of them were also looking to get into firearms. Now, everything at the time, everybody wanted repeating firearms, and if you haven't seen the short clip that I dropped, back with the muskets, any of the flintlocks, those rifles, obviously, it takes forever because you have to reload it through the muzzle, which is not really that safe, A. B, it takes approximately, according to all the records that I've read, whether it be old military regulations and things like that, a United States Continental Marine or United States soldier or whatnot around the Civil War area, so about 1860s, your what do you call it here? The standard that you needed to meet to be in an infantry unit is be able to shoot 3 shots off in under a minute. Some people can do it faster, and that's perfectly fine and dandy and whatnot. The only problem with reloading is you've got people also shooting projectiles back at you, or coming at you with a bayonet, or hitting artillery and cannons, all these types of issues. So, I mean, and they did used to line up and do the lines when they would shoot. Man, that would just really suck, standing right in front of somebody with no cover. But, more of your tactics and guerrilla warfare back then, it wasn't considered gentleman or proper in warfare, which I think is a joke. But, luckily they got rid of that shit. Their rules of engagement, right? Thanks a lot, Obama. But, yeah, so anyways, I mean, being able to reload, repeating rifles. Henry had mastered the lever action down. When he went in on business with Winchester and Smith and Wesson, he was the one basically did the majority of the developing. However, they got the patents for the company, which is volcanic repeaters or volcanic firearms. They've actually had 3 different companies name that and bankrupt 1 or 2 of them. But as far as the patents go, they screwed Henry out of it. So, we're getting to the part in his life where him and Winchester decide to go off on their own. And that's when the real stuff starts happening as far as lever action rifles go. I love lever action. That's what I hunted with 30-30 when I was, back when I was young. That's what I started out with. No scopes, just iron sights, everything like that. It's the lever action. It's just something about it. It's just America. I really enjoy. But and I mean, hell, even when you're a kid, you start out with a Red Ryder BB gun. Got that lever action. It's fun. You'll shoot your eye out, kid, right? But so like Winchester being known for the lever actions, when Henry's the one who designed it, it'll be to the point where Henry gets screwed by Winchester, and Winchester screwed him hard, and that's when he broke off. Hey, Ducky Blog, welcome. And took the patents from that, and then Henry kind of went off and did his gunsmithing, somewhat on his own, and he wasn't as successful. However, Henry, the one thing I really like about their company nowadays is because they always say if it's not going to be made in the United States, they're not going to make it. And they've stood pretty true to that, since they adopted that policy. So I do have to hand them props. They do have the Henry 4570 lever, which is badass, but you're looking at about $5 a bullet. So I mean, it's quite a bit of money there. But I don't hunt game big enough to use a 4570. I mean, I've shot one of those things before. Good bloody hell, man. They definitely going to put somebody down. But so with that in fact in mind, the other thing I was going to cover is just basic gear, securing your home. And a lot of these are, you think, common sense, but people really don't. One of the biggest no-nos that I see constantly on social media is people, and I've been guilty of this in the past too, people saying, oh, hey, I'm on this trip. I won't be back for another month, everybody. Whatever, I'm having a good time, etc. and so forth. Well, the majority of the people that are going to rob your home or steal your possessions are people that know you because they know what you have. Generally, unfortunately, sucks you can't really trust your friends, especially if you got some shady ass ones, but it is what it is, right? But that's always a thing I try to have people be cautious about. Another one is as simple as I don't like bumper stickers on cars because I think they look tacky. But another reason, if somebody's going to go break into cars and stuff like that, if they've got like Springfield Armory or any of the firearm manufacturer stickers on their car, most likely they probably have a firearm in the car, and then that just kind of makes it into a target for crime. It's the small things like that. One problem with humans is we're creatures of habit, creatures of bad habits or creatures of we just go through life with emotions and not realize, hey, there's some weird car driving around staking my house out, or any of that type of stuff, that you keep an eye on and monitor. But it's, a lot of the home, securing your home and whatnot doesn't necessarily have to all involve firearms. However, when we get to the aspect of that, there's a lot of statistics, studies, and things like that we'll cover going forward with it. That's really all I have to say without giving out any more info, but gun dog training content will be coming here shortly. We'll finish up with the Gunfather episode. It's fun. I haven't done one of those for a while. I've been enjoying it. I've kind of been doing a lot of Medal of Honor recipients, or talking about the 2-7 Marines and stuff like that. But we'll get into it, and I think you guys are going to enjoy it. I got some pretty good plans for you. So all you guys watching who watch the replay later, thanks so much for supporting the channel. All you new people, like and subscribe, check it out. All my information, all my content is free. It will always be free, and I will not charge people money for my stuff. You're more than welcome to use it. Use it as references, parody, I don't care. Perfectly fine with me. You guys all enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we'll stick around for Single Shot Sunday tomorrow. Take care, guys.